For decades, women have faced significant challenges breaking into the male-dominated world of jazz. Despite their undeniable talent and contributions, women were often relegated to roles as singers or overlooked entirely in favor of their male counterparts. Societal expectations and gender biases limited their access to opportunities, with many women having to work twice as hard to prove themselves. However, pioneering musicians like Billie Holiday, Mary Lou Williams, and Esperanza Spalding, to name a few, have paved the way, inspiring future generations to challenge these barriers and claim their rightful place in the jazz world. This Sunday, March 6th, the West End Cultural Centre will host a very special event celebrating women in jazz. The Women-Led Jazz Symposium and Women's Day Concert 4.0, presented by the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, will bring together jazz enthusiasts, musicians, and students to highlight female talent and promote inclusivity within the jazz community. With an exciting lineup of keynote speakers, breakout sessions, and performances, this event will provide a powerful platform for women to shine. The day's activities will kick off with lectures, breakout sessions, and educational seminars before culminating in a 7:30 p.m. performance at the Ventura Concert Hall. The W2JO will take to the stage for a powerhouse show featuring an all-female lineup of some of the finest jazz musicians in the city, led by the exceptional Alexis Silver. Get ready for a night that will have you swinging all through March. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about the 4th annual Women-Led Jazz Symposium are W2JO band leader Alexis Silver and Jen Taylor, who will be presenting a lecture at the symposium called Living Giants. Hey, Jenny and Alexis, great to have you here.
Hello, nice to be here.
Hi, Chris. And Jenny is also our lead trumpet player in the W2JO.
Mm-hmm. I want to start with the history of the Women-Led Jazz Symposium. Take me back to the beginning. How did it all start?
This is our 4th symposium, though this is only our 2nd that has been in conjunction with the concert. So 4 years ago, we were online, and I think it was in the fall, and we had a similar structure where we had a keynote speaker. That first one was Camille Thurman, who was phenomenal. And then we had breakout sessions, but those breakout sessions were in Zoom rooms, and the instructors led, but the participants were, as we all remember, on a muted screen, playing from home or singing from home, but not together communally. And we did have a Jazz Giants history session in those first couple ones as well. And then the next year, we kept it again in an online format, but it changed a little bit because it wasn't, I can't remember exactly how the technology changed, but we had a couple more things that could be interactive in that one. And then Jenny and I and the Women in Jazz Committee at the time thought that it might be cool to combine that symposium with the Women's Day concert so that participants could sort of see a straight line through to like, okay, I'm going to learn about this thing, I'm going to try some stuff, and now I'm going to watch it in action.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it started out being two separate things, and putting it together also helps to make it into a bigger event. Mm-hmm. Now it's something that we can really celebrate and get behind, and it helps to have the community all together.
Yeah, absolutely. When the W2JO band was proposed, was it easy to find up a lineup of musicians? I mean, Winnipeg has got such a great, killer, amazing women musicians. You must have had a lineup around the block of musicians wanting to take part, right?
Yeah, we definitely haven't had any problems staffing a band, that's for sure. We've had multiple people reach out to us, in fact, saying they want to be able to play in the band, and we don't have enough room to keep everybody that we would like to, unfortunately.
Yeah. So there's definitely that demand. Mm-hmm. Alexis, I watched a video that is up on the WJO website that you made, and you raised an interesting point. Not seeing yourself represented in jazz 20 or 30 years ago as opposed to now. I'm going to ask the question of both of you. Growing up as a high school student back in the day, has your outlook changed and the landscape changed for the both of you in regard to women in jazz? Jenny, maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it was easy for me as a high school student and a student in general, just not recognizing that I didn't see anybody who looked like me up on the bandstand. I was inspired to play trumpet by a black guy. When I was in the 4th grade and he was in the 9th grade, that's what made me want to play trumpet, is hearing him play a solo. And it never occurred to me that that was weird.
Yeah.
And living in Winnipeg, I think we've been a little bit, we're not as aware of some of those differences maybe as in other places. The first time I really became aware of being one of few females was when I went to an International Trumpet Guild conference and waiting in line for the bathroom. It's the first time I've ever been somewhere where the lineup for the men's bathroom was like 20 minutes long and the women could just walk right in.
Right.
So that's the first time I became super, super aware that maybe the trumpet world was a little bit skewed in the wrong direction, in my opinion. So once you become aware of it, then you notice it everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it becomes pretty pervasive and you notice it all over the place. I've also been pretty lucky in terms of having female teachers through a lot of my life.
And Alexis, how about you?
Yeah, I similar to Jenny, I always felt welcomed and a part of the jazz community when I was young. And it was my choice to go into the classical stream when I decided to study music. And I kept jazz in my life a little bit. But I don't know what changes would have been made if I had seen female band leaders and more female players in my formative years. Maybe I would have selected the jazz route.
I do also think it's important to note that there was no jazz program at the U of M when both of us were in school.
Yeah.
So
there was a jazz band, but there was
Right.
no jazz program.
there was a jazz band, and that's, again, something that I have noticed looking back on it is when I was in junior high, we were like 90% girls in my jazz band. High school, we were down to about 80%, and when I got to university, I was one of 3 girls in the jazz band for most of my time in the U of M jazz band.
2 of whom are now in this band.
2 of us are in the band now, yeah.
Joanna and Jenny, laying it down.
Fantastic. Education is a key part of the day on Thursday, and the day is subtitled Inspire Inclusion. In broad strokes, can you give us an overview of the afternoon portion of the day, what that's going to look like?
Sure. So Inspire Inclusion is the International Women's Day theme this year, and we try to use that theme when we're thinking about what sessions, not that the session's structure have changed, but the I don't know the
feel, the
vibe, as the kids would say, behind those sessions. So we start off the day at 2 p.m. with a keynote, and this year we are incredibly lucky. We have the amazing Jocelyn Gould, who's going to be delivering our keynote from 2 to 3. And then there's a small break, and then we have a 1-hour session called You Can Do It. Dr. Nora Wilson is going to be leading the brass. Monica Jones is going to be leading the saxophones. Lindsay Woolger is going to be leading the rhythm, and Carly Epp is going to be leading the vocal session. So anyone who's in the symposium can just go to whichever session they like. They can be active participants and play along, sing along, learn how to improvise, do some kind of group jamming, learn some skills, or they can just
we highly encourage people to bring their instruments because it is a safe place to play.
Yeah.
Period.
So I want to talk about the You Can Do It breakout sessions. Can you talk about like what the structure of that looks like?
They're each going to go to separate areas of the West End Cultural Center and get a chance to work in smaller groups on things specific to their own instrument groups. So things that are specific to brass playing or things that are specific to singing, etc. I believe that every person will do some sort of improvisation within their session as well, but just basic, how do you play your instrument better?
And Jenny, you're giving a talk called Living Giants at 4:30. Can you talk about some of the artists that you're going to be covering and some of the themes that we want to get across in the session?
Yeah, I have focused primarily on instrumentalists, women instrumentalists, and this year I chose to, I just choose to limit myself because it actually is an overwhelming number of players once you start really digging in and knowing who you're looking for. So this year I've limited myself to only living players, which is why I'm calling it Living Herstory. So everyone from the oldest living one that I could find was Toshiko Akiyoshi, who is 92 years young, all the way up to today I finished the slide for Alexa Tarantino, who was born in the 90s. So for me, that makes her young.
Fantastic. You mentioned it earlier, Jocelyn Gould, the Juno winning guitarist, is going to be here in town. She's giving the keynote address. Do you know what she's going to be talking about in that address?
Yeah, we had a phone call the other day. She was completely on the right track. She just wanted to bounce some ideas off me. Mostly she's going to be storytelling. What her experiences have been, not just being a woman in jazz, but just being in jazz as a player, as a composer, as a teacher, as an artist who's recording. So she's going to be sharing stories, but she also understands that the theme is Inspire Inclusion, so she wants to try to catch as many folks that will be in the audience as she can. I don't think she would mind me sharing that some of her experiences in Winnipeg specifically weren't very inspirational. She ran through the jazz program at U of M when it was turned upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So she's finding a great balance of storytelling and inspiring and talking to people about what it means to be a musician right now, doing what she's doing.
Fantastic. The W2JO is performing at 7:30, but prior to that, at 7:10, there's going to be a Young Women in Jazz performance. What does that consist of?
It's actually going to be at 7:05 p.m.
7:05,
because we're going to try
right.
to make sure that the crossover between ensembles is exceptionally safe this year, and that back staircase at the WEC can be like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So at 7:05 p.m., the Young Women in Jazz ensemble this year, led by the amazing Cynthia Weavers, is going to be our pre-concert. They are nominated. These players are nominated by teachers in the city, and we've put together an ensemble. They're playing 2 pieces of music that Cynthia selected that are both by female composers. Mm. The students all received their music electronically, and so they're coming with everything kind of note and rhythm ready. Mm-hmm. And then Cynthia gets to work with them for 2.5 hours before the day begins. Then all of those folks take part in the symposium. They have their sound check when we're doing our sound check. And then they play from 7:05 to about 7:22, and then we have a good safe turnover, and then W2JO hits at 7:30.
Fantastic. One of the other things I found so surprising in the video that I saw that's up on the WJO site is, Alexis, can you talk about your initial response when you were first asked to lead the group years ago, and how you eventually came around?
I said no, and that's funny. I was just talking with somebody else about this today. You asked about representation and how we sort of came into being here and what our journey was like. I didn't believe that I had the jazz chops to do it. I know that I was not the first ask, and I thought I better not. And then it's not like they came begging. They just said, no, let's do this. And then I really thought about it. And I thought, no, this is something I would like to explore. And also, this is something that I want to get good at. There are some things in life that I don't care to be good at. Technology, I don't care. I'm not good at it, and I don't care to learn to be good at it. But jazz and big band leading, heck yes. So my initial response was no. I didn't think that I was the right person. I hope that over the past 4 years, I've shown that now I'm
Alexis
okay.
has definitely proven that she is the exact right person for the job, 100%.
Well, I'm very grateful that I was asked. But like Jenny was saying, there's an embarrassment of wealth of people that could do this.
Yeah. And the 2 names that I think are worthy of definite extra mention in this regard are 2 people who have been around Winnipeg for a long time. One no longer in Winnipeg is Michelle Gregoire and Janice Finley, who are absolute staples of the jazz scene in Winnipeg and have been doing this for a long time and were around when we were in university, and definitely people who were very inspiring to me, for sure.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I think both of us.
Yeah.
It's not only going to be the band where women are being represented, but it's also in the charts as well. I know in previous years, the band has had commissions written for them by Manitoba women composers. Is that the case this year? And if so, can you talk about those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, we're playing a tune by Karen Carlson, and she has arranged the Cyndi Lauper True Colors for us to play. And we're again playing Monica Jones's Seed Keepers, which is an original composition of hers.
It's my favorite. I love it so much. And
then Jocelyn has been commissioned for a couple.
And Jocelyn's got another tune. Monica and Karen both have 2 tunes on this show, one that they've written previously and one new arrangement. And both of their new arrangements are for Heather to sing, Sol James to sing.
Nice.
And then, we're doing 2 of Jocelyn's tunes, one that was commissioned last year called Bright Note. And then she's got a beautiful ballad that I think she's singing, although she said she could just do it on guitar as well. But I think we'll ask her to sing, called I Haven't Managed to Forget You. It's on her most recent album. And then we're also going to feature Jocelyn at the beginning of set 2, just doing a song of her choosing without the big band, just Jocelyn as a feature.
Amazing. Jenny, as a member of the trumpet section, as a leader of the trumpet section, what do you look forward to most about performing with this fantastic group of musicians?
I just think it's such a joyful concert to play every year. Everybody seems very grateful to be there. Everybody's very supportive of each other, and it's just the vibe in the room is great. And it's so fun to play when that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it too late to register for the symposium and the concert? And if not, where can people go to register for the symposium?
It is not too late. Please, please come on down. We've got some space left in every session. So just go to the W2JO website, and there are links there to register for the symposium and to purchase tickets for the concert, but there is a package to just do the whole thing.
And if you can find 9 of your friends from your school, you can register with the discounted rate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been so fantastic to have you here. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking you both what you hope people who attend the symposium and the concert are going to take away from the day. Jenny, I'll start with you.
Honestly, I hope that they just have a great time, that they enjoy the music, and that they, for most of the people, and just to keep the record straight, everybody is invited. This is not a women-only event. It's a women-led event.
Absolutely.
So I hope people think that it's a swinging band, that we're having a great time, and that they can have a great time too.
Yeah, and it totally is. Yeah, absolutely. And Alexis, what about you?
Ditto. No, exactly. I think people are going to have a really, really great time. What I hope people take away from it is that there is tons of stuff that maybe has been left out of the history books along the way, but it's all available. And so now that it's becoming more prevalent, people can get it from us.
And easier to access because the internet is where I'm getting all of my information for so it's there. You just have to know what to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. Jenny and Alexis, this has been so excellent to have you here and to have two of my dear friends in the studio talking about what is going to be a fantastic and fun day. Thanks so much for taking the time to stop by and talk
Thanks
to
for
me
having
today.
us,
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
For our Classic 107 listeners, the Women-Led Jazz Symposium and Women's Day Concert 4.0 takes place this Thursday, March 6th at the West End Cultural Center. For more details, visit winnipegjazzorchestra.com or go to classic107.com. I have embedded direct links to the registration page and the concert page in the article that you can find up about the symposium and the concert that is up there now. Jenny and Alexis, thanks again.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.